Ferrari, what on earth am I going to do with you lot? What on earth am I going to do with Ferrari this week? The Styrian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton wins his first Grand Prix of the season. Mercedes won 2. Pretty simple business. Welcome back to Peter on Pole. My name is Peter on pole position. Here to talk about the Styrian Grand Prix. Great race. Mercedes won 2, but still a great race. There's lots to talk about. Let's get into it. What is the matter with Ferrari? I cannot understand these lot. I can't stand them. What's wrong with them? Ferrari, what the hell am I going to do with you this week? Charles Leclerc. Huh? What the heck was that? Lap 1, diving into your own teammate, and then both of you cost the race. What is the matter with these people at Ferrari? Someone needs to just put them in a corner for a week until Hungary. They need to be put in the naughty step for an entire week. I don't want to see or hear nothing from Ferrari until Saturday, Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying. That's all I want to. I just don't get it. Vettel was being conservative. He was holding the car straight and going up on the ends on the racing line as he turned right, and then Leclerc just. I mean, too optimistic is what Sky, I think Sky F1 Italia was talking about. You're being kind, optimistic, stupid, delusional, idiotic. Fair play to Leclerc because he actually apologized and he said, you know what, he's in the wrong. So fair play to him. But my goodness, man, Ferrari, come on, man, no points this weekend. They're having such a mess. It is such a mare with those guys. Vettel must be just thinking. The thing is, Vettel just must be sitting there thinking, oh, all right, whatever, innit? Like, it is what it is. But man, come on, Ferrari, give me something. Because after they went out in lap 1, Formula 1 didn't look like Formula 1 without the Ferraris there, without some red. No red. What's that? This smells of just what, Brazil last year. This isn't the first time they've got experience in this. Honestly, this is so frustrating. Ferrari, man, come on, like, please give me something next week. I need to see Ferrari in the top 4, top 5, top 6, whatever in the next race. I can't stand what's going on. This is getting ridiculous. The Renaults actually had a good start to the race. They were doing very well up until when Ocon had to pit and retire. It was so annoying. Ocon was having a good start and the car just seems to fail again. They had a brake issue this time, and then apparently it was a cooling issue when you find out later. What is wrong? The track temperature wasn't even that hot. Why are you having cooling issues? It was hell and thunderstorms yesterday, and now it's... I don't understand. What was very alarming as well was Alex Albon. Why was he so off the pace? He was awful. He was absolutely awful. When you compare Verstappen's pace to Hamilton, he was still within like 2-3 seconds behind him, but Albon was in the 20s at one point, 20 seconds behind Bottas. So what's going on here? Bottas got off to a good start as well. The Mercedes just controlled the race. The Racing Points, man, my goodness, they were on fire. They were absolutely cruising, especially Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez was putting in lap times where, surely the car has to be tested, and even he has to be tested because the driving was unreal. It was so quick. He was chasing the pack. Remember, Perez started in 17th place, and by lap 7 the man was up to 7th place. Like, what? It was freakish. This guy was flying through the pack. And at lap 18, Perez was all over the rear of Pierre Gasly. Absolutely, it was graphic. It was all over Gasly. And at some point, he did overtake him in lap 18. And so it became the Racing Points against the Renaults back-to-back. It was looking saucy. It was looking nice. Lap 19, Ricciardo gets ahead of Ocon. So up into 6th place was Danny Ricciardo, and the Renault was looking okay. I was liking what I was seeing. Lap 21, Lando Norris had passed Pierre Gasly, and this was getting worrying with Gasly. Gasly, who had a brilliant qualifying, he was brilliant in Q1, 2 and 3, and then in the race was just slagging behind. And so they went into the pits, changed it for hard tyre, and it did not improve anything. He went in again towards the end of the race, went on the soft tyre just to at least gain some places, at least have some respect, because he was back in last place and was doing nothing. Lap 23, you had the Williams, the Haas, the the Alfa Romeo and the AlphaTauri all in a row together in a pack at the back end of the grid. George Russell, he started off strong, and then he got into a tangle with Kevin Magnussen, which put him off the track. And then when he came back in, I think he either had a bit of damage or he'd lost a bit of pace, and that was really the end of his race, to be fair. Just stuck at the back pack, really. Lap 25, Max Verstappen pits, putting on the medium tyre, which you could see was going to be the long game that they were going to go for. But at the same time, Bottas was looking good, and I was fearing, lap 26, 25, I was fearing we've got a Mercedes 1-2 on our hands, because Max's pace just wasn't really there. I guess the soft tyre just wasn't helping them, whereas Lewis was just, from the off, Lewis just went, and then that was the end of that story. Lap 1, Lewis went, and that was the end. That was the end of that. Lap 26, Ocon retires. This is what I was talking about before. He retires on lap 26. It's so frustrating with that Renault. The reliability issues, they're continuing. And the thing is, it got me thinking about, oh no, what's going to happen to Ricciardo? Because I did not see Ricciardo finishing this race, and yet he did. Lewis Hamilton in lap 27 pits in as well and puts on the medium tyre. By then, gone clear of Max Verstappen, and Max was getting frustrated on the radio because he was asking, what the heck do you want me to do with this? You know, why did we pit in? Or, you know, why did we go for this strategy? What are the Mercedes doing? Because at some point he sandwiched in between Hamilton and Bottas, and he doesn't know whether or not to be looking at the guy in front of him or worried about the guy behind him. It was just, you could just see the plan was going to fail. And I think what Red Bull knew from the off was that, let's maintain second place. Like, we're not even going to go for first place. Maintain second, not a bad result compared to what they had last weekend when they did not finish the race. At 31, Sergio Perez still going. He's gone down to 8th place. The man is on fire. He's passing pack. The Racing Point pace is delicious. Lap 36, Hamilton was complaining that his medium tyres seem to be a lot softer. That it doesn't seem like he's got either enough grip, whether there's not enough heat in the temperature. I don't know what it was, but he was concerned. He was thinking, this is not a medium tire. I know a medium tire. This ain't it. Lap 38, meanwhile, Stroll is gaining on Albon. He's about 3.5 seconds behind Albon. There is something not right with either Albon or the car he was in. Sergio Perez on the medium, Danny Ricciardo on the softs, and Sergio Perez is all over Danny Ricciardo. I don't know what it is about Perez today. He was feeling romantic. He was all over everybody. Lap 40, you had a great battle between Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez. I mean, it was first Sainz has overtaken Perez has overtaken Sainz. They've gone back and forth and maintained position then afterwards. And Perez passes Norris in the end as well. And then passes Stroll. So he's up into P6 by lap 46. I mean, I told you, but this guy was on the stuff. Lap 50, you could see Danny Ricciardo just looking left and right in his mirrors each and every single time. I've never seen a Formula 1 driver like the helmet turning left and right so often, because he cannot, he's breathing, you know, things are breathing down his neck, and he's got Stroll down his neck, and he's looking at, you know, Perez is just beating him, and now it's fantastic stuff. Worrying times though for Renault. I was fearing the worst, my friend. The gap gets ever closer now. It's Perez versus Albon, and the gap is getting closer. 4.5 seconds, 3.2 seconds, 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds, 2.1 by lap 54, 0.8 seconds the gap between Perez and Albon. 15 laps to go. Perez has caught him up. It's nail-biting stuff. Last 15, and Albon, I'm sure, is sweating for his life. Lap 58, Max Verstappen's had front wing damage. What's gone on there? Why has that happened? And then he started dropping off the pace. You started seeing the lap times getting less and less, and you're thinking, what on earth has happened here? Bottas told on the radio there will be opportunities. See, the Mercedes knew that there was something wrong with the pace of Verstappen and told Bottas, look, just take it easy. Your opportunity is coming. Lap 60, I'd realised on Sky Sports, they just barely even mentioned Lewis Hamilton. This man was clear. There's like 3 shots of Lewis Hamilton in the entire race, and up until the end. Literally, that was all there was. But yeah, it was one of those races today, man. The Mercedes weren't necessarily just dominant, but it was just like nobody was giving them a fight. No one was doing anything. Like, they just did what they had to do, and they got it done. And you know, so it wasn't necessarily dominant, but then you can't fault them. They did well. They did what they had to do. Lap 61, now you got Lance Stroll all over Ricciardo's car, because Ricciardo's car is struggling all the way to the end, and it's not looking good. Lap 61 as well, the McLaren battle was going on. So Sainz and Norris were at it together, and it was squeaky on time. It was just so, I was pinching myself. I was getting wheezy. I was like, no, please don't hit each other. Don't do it. But it was just simply because Norris's tyres, he was just coping better on the tyres than Sainz was. And eventually, McLaren did, you know, there was a bit of team ordering going on there where let Norris through, and it was just smooth. Didn't waste any time. Great teamwork from McLaren. Great job done. Well done to the drivers as well, because they've got egos, and as they should, but not enough to jeopardize what could be good points for the team. Bottas then is getting even closer, 2.5 seconds behind Verstappen this time. Perez is 0.7 seconds on Albon. Danny Ricciardo is lap 64. Danny Ricciardo, you have to say, has done tremendously well. This is what's making him top class as a driver, because even though the car is awful at the moment, he's putting the car in the right places on the track, so no one's passing him really. But he's done everything he can to just keep that car at bay. Bottas is now caught up with Max Verstappen, and they go head-to-head on it, and they overtake in lap 66, but then Verstappen takes it back, but then Bottas comes back, and then he confirms the position. It was a great race. It was a great tussle between the two. Max Verstappen was not going to take this line down, not at all. Getting passed by Bottas, it's not going to be a simple job. Fair play to him. I mean, he was always fighting a losing battle, Verstappen, but he did what he could. And yeah, lap 67, Bottas overtakes. Lap 68, 69, but you had people pitting in. You know, Sainz was going into the pits. You had Verstappen going into the pits just to grab some, the fastest lap of the race so you can gain an extra point as long as you finish in the top 10. Lap 17, no! Sergio Perez, oh, so close. He was overtaking Albon. He was going to kill him. And then they touched. And then there was front wing damage on Perez's car. And all of a sudden, you just saw the gap between Albon and Perez increase. And Perez was struggling for the rest of the race. And Lando Norris was just incredible. The last lap, he's overtaken Stroll, and then he dives into Perez. Oh my God, it was just unbelievable. Last turn, and it was the pass of the race by far. Onto turn 10, they're going onto the inside of each other. You've got Norris is on this edge here, whilst Perez is taking the left side, and it was sort of behind like this, and then he just sort of dips, and it bends the right. It's fantastic. It was you have to see it. Check it out on YouTube. I'm sure there's footage of it. It was a brilliant overtake right at the death, and Norris nicks 6th place on not only Perez and Lance Stroll right at the end there. It was just 5th place. Sorry, he takes P5 right at the death. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable scenes to end the race, as always. Formula One, there's always something to talk about. You know, all you're going to hear on the headline tomorrow is probably going to be Hamilton pole position in qualifying, Hamilton Mercedes 1-2 win the race. But mate, in between, there's too much going on. I can't just let it go. So yeah, the top 3, of course, you've got Verstappen in 3rd place. He did all he could. Fair play to him. The car just wasn't giving it. Wasn't doing it right. Wasn't giving it to him. But 3rd place nonetheless. He got there in the end. He got on the podium. It's better than what they had last week. Red Bull, Albon on 4th as well. So 3 and 4, you take it. You'd absolutely take it. Bottas in 2nd place. So he's extending his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship with the Hamilton, who wins. Steady race, vintage Lewis Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff. I can't even forget, right at the last turn 10 in lap 71, you had a situation where it was Ricciardo, it was Stroll, it was Perez. It was a sandwich mix, that's what it was. And literally, Perez was almost about to lose his position to Stroll, because Stroll was right up behind Perez. And literally, it was a photo finish, right? Where 3 cars all on the line. You had Perez, who just edged it, Stroll and Ricciardo. It was those 3 that was sandwiched together. Again, you got to see the footage. It was unreal, right at the death. And the thing is, Perez was slowing down just because of the front wing damage. Ricciardo, he almost overtook Perez. Perez nearly lost all his places down to he could have finished 8th, and it would have been like a disaster. But he didn't. Norris in 5th, Perez in 6th, Stroll in 7th, Ricciardo in 8th, Sainz in 9th, and Kvyat, big up yourself, top 10. Oh, that is the Styrian Grand Prix. I need to make sure I got that correct. The Styrian Grand Prix, it was quite a race. Whew, now I can breathe. That, ladies and gentlemen, will sum up this week's review of the Styrian Grand Prix. Make sure to check out the videos on my top 3s. What a good race. We say bye-bye to Austria, and you served us well. You served us really well. So big up to everyone in the Austrian Grand Prix. Well done, Austria. You've given us a blockbuster start to the season, and we'll be back in Hungary, where I'll be doing a preview of the Hungarian Grand Prix. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, lights out.